high functioning professionals.
So there's a lot of classic signs of burnout, which is tiredness, fatigue, etc. But some of the underlying signs which are not that common is a feeling of living in autopilot. You're waking up, you're living the same day all over again. There's a huge lack of purpose. You're just a robot going through the motions, a feeling of helplessness, and also underlying health issues, immunity issues, things like you're getting a cold really often, you're falling sick really often, unexplained stomach issues, unexplained joint pains. These are some things that are really, really common. Apart from the outward signs, of course, like not being able to be productive at work, not being able to focus, changes in behavior at work as well is really, really common. Say you were someone who is very particular about their to-do list, but suddenly you're not, and you're someone who always goes to office on time and suddenly you're showing up late at office, all of these are signs of burnout.
Emotional boundaries at work without guilt or fear of judgment.
So a guilt is really, really common, and even a fear of judgment. Today's generation, particularly, we are living in a time of hustle culture. Everyone's worth is tied to their work and their productivity. It's about a mindset shift. Yes, work is important, but it's a part of your personality, not all of it. So I think the first thing is to realize that there are other parts of you that also need nourishment. And once you have that mindset shift, there's a lot of ways to communicate those boundaries at work. No is not a bad word. It's about putting yourself first, and it's also about saying it gently. It's not about being rude or harsh to the person in front of you. It's about explaining in a really gentle way by saying things such as, hey, I have a lot on my plate, and I'd really appreciate it if I could pick this up another week. Or, hey, I can take this up, but that would mean I may be delayed in XYZ. A no and a boundary doesn't mean building a wall. It means having a door, and you are in control of when to open the door, when to close the door, and how much of the door do you want to keep open.
Still fall into overwork or people pleasing patterns.
I think I'll circle back to what I said previously as well, that most smart, successful people, while they've done wonderfully at work, their entire sense of identity is tied to just one area of their life. Yes, that may be one of the most important areas, but it's not the only area of your life. And I think people also really get used to the validation that they receive from external success, which is once again great, but internal validation is also extremely important. External validation is extremely addicting, and a lot of people get used to that dopamine hit that comes with constantly being good at work, with constantly staying busy, busy, busy. It's like when you take something off your to-do list, you feel really good, or when you're doing online shopping, you feel really good. But what happens after doing this repeatedly is that slower things feel extremely boring to you. So the brains and nervous system of extremely smart and successful people are used to this pattern. It's become a habit for them. Long term, this does have certain impacts such as mental health issues, chronic fatigue, etc. etc. Not saying none of this is reversible, it is definitely reversible. As I said, it's about that mindset shift that there are other areas in your life also, and that there is also joy in doing slow, meaningful things instead of doing fast things to tick things off your to do list.
Emotional regulation and relationships outside of work.
This is a really, really important question, I might add. And yes, there are people who can balance it all, but I'm going to focus on those people and those situations where stress at work does translate outside the work of the workplace. It's easy to say compartmentalize, but that's not always possible. It's only natural that after a hard day at work, one comes home, one may project their irritation, frustration onto their family members, onto their friends. So it's really important to regulate at that time, especially when you're shuffling between spaces, between your personal and professional life. Vice versa as well. The personal can also impact the professional. These two are not in separate compartments, they are very much interconnected. So that's how stress at the workplace affects the personal life. And the key is to take pauses, to self regulate, to talk, and try to stay in the present moment as much as possible.
Workplace actually look like and how can leaders create it?
So emotional safety at the workplace is very, very important. Whether it's a virtual or a physical workspace, yes, salary, security, all of that is extremely important. But in today's generation, there's something known as emotional safety or psychological safety. It's about establishing a space where your employees feel comfortable to to verbalize and vocalize their emotions, where they feel heard, where they feel validated, and where their opinions are taken into consideration at whatever level of seniority they are at. And as leaders, it is our job not just again to provide a salary and a source of income, but to provide that space for them to grow personally, professionally, and provide that space for them where they can be themselves. Some ways to do that is to do regular check-ins with the team, whether it's the leader doing it personally or doing it through the HRs or managers. It's important to check in and understand from them where they are at emotionally, not just doing the regular surveys about let's rate the company on a scale of 1 to 10, but how comfortable, how emotionally safe do they feel? How safe do they feel to voice their opinions? Go down to the ground level, ask these questions, maybe once a quarter, do these check ins, like I said, directly or through people. Another way is to ensure that in team meetings or town halls, to ensure that everybody, not just the senior management, is involved. In every meeting, give time and space for people to speak. Don't just say, okay, XYZ person, you speak up. Provide 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the end where you can give free rein to everybody to speak. And if they give their opinion, make sure to validate it. You may not agree with it, you could give them feedback later, but make sure to make them feel that yes, I hear you, I understand your opinion, and we will take it into consideration at a later point.
They've already hit the wall emotionally or physically.
So, I would say hitting a wall these days has become really, really common due to a lot of reasons, the fast pace of life, personal issues, professional issues. But the key is that anyone who falls has the ability to pick themselves up. But let's not compare at the pace at which we are doing it. It could take someone 5 days, it could take someone 5 months. So, firstly, please don't compare your journey to someone else's. Secondly, it's about how you pick yourself up. We all need people, sometimes professional help, sometimes family, sometimes friends. They can be extremely helpful in picking yourself up. Secondly, also your own anchors. When I say anchors, I mean those things that keep you together. It could be exercise, it could be nutrition, it could be your hobbies. Slowly, slowly doing those things that make you feel more like yourself. And the more we do these things on a regular basis, the easier it will be for you to pick yourself up. While these are a couple of things that can help emotionally, physically also it's really important because mental health does affect your physical health as well. So after a slump or a downfall, chances are your immunity may be low, you may have certain health issues. Again, it's about taking it very, very slow. First thing, eat very healthy, nutritious food. It's extremely important. Wholesome foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. Secondly, movement goes a really long way. And by movement, I don't mean you have to go to the gym every day or once in 2 days either. It's just about moving your body regularly. Don't sit in one place too long. It could be getting up, going to the kitchen, going for a short walk in the evening. Movement really nourishes the body. Movement in any form, healthy nutritious food, and taking micro breaks, short breathing exercises go a really long way for mental and physical health both. To summarize, for physical health I would suggest good nutritious food, regular movement, socializing, and taking micro breaks through the day.
Work-life balance a myth, or are we just defining it wrong?
Interesting question. In my personal and professional opinion, yes, it's a myth. It is not humanly possible to give a 50-50 because it really depends on the day. Instead of work life balance, I prefer the term work life harmony. The word harmony is a little more grounded, it's a little more present focused. There could be days where you have a deadline at work where you may give 60, where you may give 40 at home. There could be times where at home someone is ill or there's a function, you may have to give 70 at home and 30 at work. It's about what the present moment calls for, and it's about being in the now where you are at. If you're at work, be at work. If you're at home, be at home. What we tend to do is not be in the present and mentally be somewhere else. So, to answer that balance, yes, it's a myth. Let's go with the word harmony. And yes, harmony is very much possible through simple lifestyle changes and certain mental and physical boundaries that we can draw at work. There are certain things that we can do. As I said, really try to be in the present moment. Anytime your mind wanders, a simple thing that I do is look at the time. Okay, today's 10th July, 5:30 p.m. Where is your mind at? Is it here? Is it physically in the space, or is it somewhere else? drinking a warm cup of water or a cup of tea or coffee to just ground you in the present moment. Taking a short walk also really helps. And in terms of professional and personal boundaries, it's also important to communicate that, hey, after XYZ time, I may not be available because I need to commit to my family. Or communicating to your family as well that, hey, I have a meeting, I may not be available at XYZ time. I would really appreciate if you give me some space. Communication goes a really long way in trying to maintain the work life harmony, along with, of course, trying to stay in the present moment as well.